So people are just showing up. Looks like we already have a good crowd. Welcome to some of the new people. Lots of new faces today. Wow. We've had a lot of new people. And I usually have my list of welcomes, but I didn't get to that today. Does anybody have any questions about anything before I dive in?
I'm doing my onboarding today with you a little later, so should I save those kind of questions for that?
If you're going to do the onboarding with me today, then probably.
Okay.
Yeah. The onboarding is where I'm going to go over like how the program works, how to take the supplements, how to do the cleanse, how you and I will be communicating.
Okay.
All of that sort of stuff. So that's pretty much how that works. So if you're brand new and you haven't done an onboarding call and you feel really lost and confused, it's because you haven't done the onboarding call. And by the way, if you want to do a second or a third onboarding call, you certainly can, because I know some people do the onboarding call and then they go, well, I can't start until 3 weeks from now because I'm traveling or I have this event or something. And then 3 weeks from now, they forgot everything. So join another one if you need another one. That's what they're here for. I want to make sure that everybody feels supported, gets your questions answered. This is an environment to ask questions as well in regards to foods or struggles or events coming up or anything really. Mindset stuff, whatever.
I have a question because I think it fits into what you're talking about today. So I just had watched the video that you recommended, then writing out your vision.
Oh,
And you stated to write it in past tense.
write it. I'm going to talk about that today, actually.
Okay.
I'm going to kind of recap the success formula, but your vision, you want to write it as if it's already happened. Like, it's like, I am so happy and grateful now that I've lost the 50 pounds and I can wear my favorite jeans and I have all this energy and I can play with my kids or my grandkids. And now I can create memories with them and I feel good and all the things that what the results that you're looking for might bring you. My doctor told me I don't have to take medications. I'm not pre-diabetic anymore. My skin is better, like whatever.
Okay.
Things.
I was trying to figure out, because I was trying to write that out, but that almost, it felt like it was present tense, but you're just saying, you're still writing it in the present tense. I am happy now.
I am happy and grateful now that I have achieved blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's in my PowerPoint today. I wasn't going to go deep into it, but I'm pretty sure it's in the PowerPoint today. Well, that reminds me. Hang on 1 second. Oops. Okay. Hang on. All right. All right. Looks like we've got a couple more people joining in. Big crowd today. I'm so happy that you are all here. And I do welcome questions throughout. I do save time at the end for Q&A, but by all means, grab a pen. You can either write out your questions or if I'm not explaining something right, by all means, go ahead and interrupt me. If we get too many people, I won't be able to do that and we'll just save it for the end. But these groups are pretty small. Looks like we just have about 11 today so far, but it is early. But I will go ahead and dive right in. All right. All right. So today we are talking about the perspective shift and some mind hacks. So we all, we get to a thing and our conscious mind wants to achieve a certain goal, but sometimes that subconscious mind, which has been programmed by us and others growing up, to do something different than what we consciously want. So we're going to take a little dive into that today. Funnies and shout outs. This is what we're going to talk about today. Funnies and shout outs. Is what you see the truth? Is what you see the truth? Is your reality the same as my reality? I'll reveal that. I'll tell you the story about the three Helens, which is funny. I'll talk about the RAS, which is the reticular activating system. What do you believe? Brain hacks and Q&A. All right, so I wanted to start a new diet, but I have way too much on my plate. Okay, where are my shout outs? All right, so for shout outs, let's see, Teresa, she is down 10 pounds. Veronica, first week, she said her energy is soaring. She feels really, really amazing. Barbara is down 20 pounds, and she has said that this is the smartest thing she has ever done. Lori is down 36 pounds. Congratulations to you, Lori. Amy said her bloat is gone. She said that is like magic for her. She has done a lot of things to get rid of her bloating, and it's just about gone. And she literally called it magical. So I wanted to throw that out. This is not all about weight loss. There's a lot of other wonderful, fabulous side effects. Gina said her belly is down. She's down 14 pounds. Her cravings were out of control, and now they are totally gone. That's really, and her blood sugars have already corrected. And she was fasting blood sugars at 110 to 115, and now she's in the 80s. So congratulations to all of you guys. Lots of good results coming through. So happy to hear all of that. So today we're going to look at different perspectives, different ways of looking at things. And, like this guy in the middle looking at the tree. Oh, look, there's some wood. Oh, look, there's some firewood. Oh, look, there's some furniture. And of course, the little boy, oh, look, there's a tree. We all see things a little bit different. We might look at a plate of spaghetti or an ice cream cone or a cheeseburger or some French fries. And we all probably have a different perspective or a different thing that we think of when we see these certain foods. When we think about exercise, what do you think about? What is your perspective on it? So I wanted to go into that today. All right, so what do you see? So here we got on the left, this guy's sitting up here, completely oblivious to the fact that this guy's hanging here. Looks like the guy in the background's running up to come save him. And then the picture on the right, this guy's over here doing push-ups with his fingers, and the guy sitting there can't even believe what he's looking at, right? So now I want you all to turn your head to the right, and then you can't unsee it. It's a completely different story. It's a completely, totally different story. When you come to the right, you realize the guy is actually laying in the street. He's not sitting on a ledge at all. And if you look, you see cars parked on the street. It's just a completely, completely different story. And what we see is based on our subconscious mind and what we've been training our reticular activating system to see, what we have believed in the past, what we have believed to be the truth in the past. A lot of our decisions or ideas of what is true and what is real and what is the reality is a lot of times based on past experience. And we reach in and we get our past experience and we apply that to the next thing, but it's not always the same case. All right, what do you see here? Who sees a vase? Who sees silhouette of two faces? It's just how you look at things. We all see things different. Okay, so I wanted to tell you about the story of the three Helens. All right, so I got this story from Kyle Cease in his book called The Illusion of Money. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Kyle Cease, but he is a comedian who has turned into kind of like a motivational speaker. And his book, I've gone to one of his, I believe it was a 2 or 3 day seminars where it's just all his personal development stuff, really, really cool stuff. I love those kinds of things because I turn around and share them with you guys. But his book called The Illusion of Money, he tells the story of the three Helens. So the first Helen, so there's three Helens, and all three Helens, they kind of come from the same background. They obviously all have the same name, and they all have kind of the same education, sort of, coming from kind of the same place in life. And they were all granted $1 million. Just here you go, here's $1 million. So Helen number one, what does she do? She is all about, she's so excited. She's never had $1 million before. This is so amazing. This is going to be so great. So what does she do? She quits her job. She moves out of her place where she lives, and she rents a high-end apartment building in the city. She has parties. She buys a new car. She buys a bunch of new fancy clothes. She even buys a $250,000 Kid Rock statue. And he tells the story so much better than I do, because like I said, he is a comedian. So she goes for that instant gratification. She takes her friends out for dinner and drinks, and spares nothing. She's just spending money and enjoying the hell out of it. Really, really enjoying the heck out of her parties. She buys a convertible car. She's just having a great old time. Helen number two, also, her name is Helen. She gets the same amount. She gets $1 million. Helen number two, she decides to do some smart investing. So she goes to a couple of seminars at your local Courtyard by Marriott. There's some seminars on money and seminars on investments and seminars on how to open up certain bank accounts that have high interest. So she's doing the smart, conservative kind of thing. She's doing some stuff to hopefully expand that money. She's not going to be spending it in anything like Helen number one. So she is going to, at the end of her first year, as you can see, Helen number one is already spending a whole lot of money, not going to have a whole lot of money at the end of the year. Helen number two, probably going to have more money at the end of her first year. Helen number three, she decides to take her $1 million and expand herself. She also quits her job. Helen number one had quit her job too. Helen number two did not. Helen number three also quit her job, but she decided to do some self-improvement. She decided to go overseas and do some backpacking, which is something she's always wanted to do. She returns and she feels like a new person. She decides to get healthy. She takes some meditation classes, and she gets in alignment with herself. She starts to learn what she really loves, what her true passions are, and she takes some classes on what those things are, and learns how to start a business within, with it that's encompassing her new found passions. So that is what Helen number three does. So now at first guess, well, actually, there's no guess. Obviously, Helen number two at the end of the first year is probably going to have a little bit of more money than the other two Helens. So Helen number 1 was instant gratification. Helen number 2 was being very conservative and smart, but nothing to do with expanding herself. Helen number 3 was expanding herself and getting more personal development. So how does this translate to weight loss or becoming healthier and doing a program like this one? So let's create that translation here. So in this case, 3 Helens, they were all granted the most perfect, absolute perfect body. It has the exact right amount of body fat, the exact right amount of muscle. She can fit into whatever size she wants, whatever she decided was a perfect body. So what does Helen number 1 do? Helen number 1 has decided, well, I'm slim, I'm fit, look at me go. I can order the cheeseburger and I can order the supersize. I'm going to get me some French fries. She eats whatever the heck she wants because she's now got this slim body. She also decides to sleep in. She doesn't have to work out. Why should she bother? She already has the perfectly fit body, the body that she's always wanted. She treats herself. She rewards herself with foods. And why not? She has the perfect body. Helen number 2. Well, so Helen number 1, instant gratification. She's already got the fit body, so instant gratification. Helen number 2 says, wow, I've got the perfect body. I don't want to lose this. So she gets a personal trainer and she signs up for a food system that brings her some prepared meals so that she can keep her healthy body. She decides to stick with her diet, stick with eating healthy, and she buys some new clothes. So she's being somewhat conservative. It's nothing to do with expanding herself, but she's going to maintain the results that she's got. Helen number 3, in translation, she's going to expand herself. So what is she going to do? She's going to try some new recipes. She's going to take up some new hobbies. Now that she's fit, she has the energy. She's going to take some salsa lessons or some dance lessons of some sort. She's going to join a pickleball club and maybe learn how to play some pickleball. She's going to join some meetup groups and join some other like-minded people who like to stay fit and healthy. She's really going to expand herself out. She's going to start listening to podcasts on healthy eating and healthy cooking and healthy lifestyle. She's also going to sign up for a dating site because she now knows that she has all this wonderful new confidence with this new healthy body. And she's going to take advantage of that and see where that can take her. So she's doing a lot of things that are going to expand her and take her out of her comfort zone. Now, the reason I even talked about this is the first set, when it was in regards to money, it was the instant gratification versus the conservative versus expanding yourself. Let me ask you this. If you were to be granted your perfect body and you had all the health that you needed, which response would you have? And I say this, and I wanted to share this because this was my experience. And it was a stranger. It was a lady came up to me, and I couldn't believe she had the nerve to ask me this. But she came up to me in the restaurant and she said, she was trying to compliment me, I'm sure. But she said, if I was as slim as you, if I had a fit body like you, I wouldn't have ordered the salad. I would have ordered the cheeseburger and the fries. I guess I was eating a salad or something of that nature. But it was just in that moment, I realized it was a completely and totally different perspective. From her point of view, you get slim so that you can eat the cheeseburgers and the fill in the blank if cheeseburgers aren't your thing, but maybe it's pizza, maybe it's bread, maybe it's pasta or dessert or whatever the case is. But it's a different perspective. Like Whereas getting thin, and if you think about it as getting healthy and getting your energy back so that you can go live a life and do the things and have the experiences with your kids and your grandkids and your family and your friends and building bonding relationships, doing fun things like pickleball or dancing or hiking or kayaking or whatever the case may be. So hopefully that little cute story helped. I got the book. His name is Kyle Cease, and it's called The Illusion of Money, but I got it on Audible, so you guys can listen to it. And I would suggest you do that because you can translate what he's saying. It's not just about money, it's about anything we're trying to achieve and how we think about it and the perspective and how we see it. You know, some people get a bunch of money and let's go spend it. Think about this. We hear about it all the time. People that, you know, maybe they make 30, 40, 50,000 bucks a year, and maybe that's their household income. And then they win the lottery, but their brain doesn't know how to think like a millionaire. They think like a poorer person or a person that doesn't make very much money. So what are they going to do? They're going to go out and spend and go wild and go crazy. Or you lose a few pounds and like, oh, let me treat myself. Now I can have the ice cream. Now I can have the pizza or whatever the case may be. All right. So change the way you look at things, and the things that you look at change. Dr. Wayne Dyer, he's another one that I encourage you follow on YouTube. There's so many cool people that we can listen to that really give us a different perspective on how we look at things and how we see things. Jim Rohn is another good one. Tony Robbins is a good one. Jack Canfield, Bob Proctor, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Kyle Cease, lots of good ones out there. So what you feed your mind is as important as what you feed your body. So listening to these guys on YouTube and showing up to these classes, anything that you can do to get the good information in your head will be helpful. So I wanted to talk about what is the reticular activating system? What is it? And it's called the RAS for short. What it is it's actually a filter that lets or doesn't let your brain get information. So what do I mean by that? Let's see. What do I mean by that? So if you are taking this course and you're learning about low glycemic foods and fats and carbs and the glycemic load and macronutrients and label reading and the buzzwords on the label reading and sugar names, and you've been coming to the classes and you're learning all this stuff about eating healthy, about keeping blood sugar stable. And so you're training your brain to say, this is important, this is important, this is important, this is important. And when you do that, you're telling your reticular activating system that this is important. So when you go out into the world, you're going to see things that are related to that. You will see things, you like if you walk into the grocery store, you may have never, ever noticed a label that says low glycemic until you join this program. I'll be talking about that next week. I'll go into the glycemic index a little more next week, I believe. Or if I'm talking about exercise, and then you'll start to notice like little Pilates studios or yoga studios or boot camps or boxing gyms or that stuff, you'll notice it, whereas you would never have normally noticed those kinds of things. It's literally the reticular activating system is literally the filter. Think about, let me ask you this. What do you see? What do you guys see? Everybody's on mute. Okay.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Oh, now it does. That's the second time your voice has gone away.
Oh, no.
Same here.
I don't know how to fix that. Oh, shoot. Last week I had some glitches with the internet as well. Oh. Can you all hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I'll just keep going. So as you go through, I kind of lost my train of thought. So the reticular activating system, as you continue to learn some of the words and some of the terms and some of the things we're suggesting that you learn about, you're going to start to notice those things. Because as you drive down the street, your reality is different than what you see is different than my reality of what I see when I drive down the same street at the same time. So for example, because so whatever your hobby is, maybe your hobby is quilting, for example. When you drive down the street and you see a store that's Quilters R Us or something like that, for example, you're going to notice that because you're a quilter. I would never notice that in a million years because quilting is not on my radar. I've never quilted. I don't know how to quilt. I don't want to quilt. It's just I have other things I want to do. However, I do make jewelry. So if I saw a bead store, a bead store would catch my attention. The reticular activating system knows that that's important to me. And so it would catch my eye. So when we drive down the street and you see certain cars, you see certain stores, you see certain people, the homelessness really, really bothers me. So when I see them, I notice them and it creates a thought process within me, but I do notice it. Whereas if it's never been on your radar, or you've never thought about the homeless people before, you might not even ever notice them. It might not be a thing. So the more you start to study and learn about getting healthy, the more you're going to get to notice some of that stuff. Hopefully that makes sense. So because we drive down the street, there's houses, there's signs, there's lights, there's billboards, there's other cars, there's other people, there's billboards, there's the radio that we're listening to, there's a million things. Your brain would literally explode if we took in all of it. So the reticular activating system is the filter that blocks it and only lets in what you've decided is important. So that's why it's easy to program it, because all you got to do is study getting healthy, and getting healthy things, opportunities will show up. Whereas maybe you have never noticed them before. All right. So what do you believe? Everything that we do is based on a belief system, right? I've joined certain things. Like you guys believe that this, like Dr. Inventino's, resonated with you. The stuff he talked about gut health, about the hormones, about the liver, about all the things that's going wrong or could be going wrong in the body. And it resonated with you. So your belief system said, this is for me. I want to try this program. I've tried something else before, but I'm going to try this one. So it's all about a belief system. I've spent a lot of money on, anti-wrinkle creams because I believe it was going to help me. Whether it's true or not, doesn't matter. It would mean it's true, but we have beliefs and we have limiting beliefs. And the limiting beliefs to, like Helen number 1, she just believes that I'm never going to get $1 million again. So let me go out and spend and have as much possible fun as I possibly can. Helen number 2 and Helen number 3 had a different belief, right? What we believe we're capable of. And this goes into your identity, who you think you are, what you think you're capable of, what your identity is. I talked about this a few weeks ago. Your identity is basically the thermostat in your system. So if you're set at a 75 and then whatever, 75%, just make up a number. It's not a degrees per se, but if we're a 75 and then we gain a little bit of weight or we gain a little bit of extra money, whether it's weight loss or money, we go above that thermostat, we get happy, or if I get a little extra money comes in, I'm pretty happy about that. But if I'm at a 75, something's going to happen to bring me back down. If I lose a little bit of money, the washing machine breaks, the flat tire comes, I get a speeding ticket, and then, but I'll bring myself back up because I've decided I'm capable of this much. Same thing with weight loss. We do a weight loss program. We lose a few pounds, but if we're at a 75 and we go up or we go down, we're going to come right back up to where we've decided what we think we're capable of. The best way to switch that is to remind yourself on a daily basis and write it out. Write it out. 3 things that you did towards reaching your goal today to prove that you are becoming a healthier, fit person. If it's money that I'm looking for, I have to write out 3 ways that I did to save money or create a new source of income, or maybe I opened up a new high interest bank account. Maybe I cut my coupons. Maybe I took a side hustle. Maybe I took a roommate, maybe whatever the case may be. So if you write those things out on a daily basis, I start to see proof to myself, or you start to see proof to yourself that you are capable of doing more and doing better. Again, it's about who you think you are. What do we think about what do we believe about our food choices? Talked about that a little bit earlier, but when we look at dessert or ice cream or pizza, does that make us feel good, or does that scare us? I wanted to talk about this one a little bit, because when I learned about the glycemic index, this is how I lost my weight. I wasn't counting calories, anything like that. I was exercising okay. I just loved food, and carbs were the thing. Carbs were, of course, my favorite, and bread particularly. And so I couldn't get past that for the longest time. For 7 years, I'm trying to diet. And it's like, there's my thermostat, up and down, but I always came back to the same thing. So when I owned my gym, and I had this program brought into the gym as a weight loss program, and I finally got it. I learned what the glycemic index was all about, and I studied it, and I wrote my first book, which made me really study it harder, which again activated my reticular activating system. I started to change the way I think and feel about the breads and the carbs and the other things. So it really gave me an opportunity to shift my choices. So what we think about our food choices is what we're going to base our decisions on, because all day long, we all know eating a chocolate bar isn't going to get you closer to your goals, but we also believe that it's going to taste so good and it's going to make me feel better in this moment. So whichever thing is the stronger belief, this is going to end up being our behavior. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Wave to me or smile or something. Okay, good. Thank goodness. So what you believe about this program? Obviously, you believe it's going to help you, so you're here, and thank goodness. All right, so another shifting in perspective. Okay, so at first glance, and this is what I get a lot as your coach, there's people going, oh, this is too hard. I don't have time. My family eats in a different way. My kids will never eat that. My life is crazy right now. I can't work out. It's raining outside. Or I can't work out. My gym is closed for renovation. But the shift would be, okay, it's too hard. Well, what can you do? Well, what part of it's too hard? Is it the meal prep? Well, what can you do? Could you Google the easy recipes for weight management? Easy recipes for a low glycemic meal. What can you do? Can you put your tennis shoes on? Can you turn YouTube on for Sit and Be Fit? What can you do? Asking the right questions is really, really important. I don't have time. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the demonstration of where you put the big rocks in first. So if you have this big jar and you have, all these you put in your big rocks first, then you make sure that the big rocks are the important things, the most important things. You put your big rocks in first. Then you can put in your pebbles. And there's still room, then you can put in your sand. Your sand is the kind of stuff that wastes our time, like social media or stuff like that. But you put the big rocks in first. So creating a schedule where you see it on your schedule, if it's meal prepping or if it's exercise or meal planning, whatever the case may be. Let's see, my family eats in a different way. What do they like and what is on the program that you can all have? This is all just regular food. People think, oh, no one will eat like this because they don't want to be on a diet. But it's food, it's chicken, it's fish, it's seafood, it's vegetables. Yes, there's brown rice. Yes, there's lentils, and eventually there's fruit and quinoa. And there's lots of good ways to season all that stuff up. There's lots of winter squash. There's lots of things that are on the program that it's normal food. So we can still do that. Maybe they want potatoes. You can make those too and just leave those out. My life is crazy right now. So what's perspective shift? You still have to eat something. We have to go to a restaurant and order something. You have to put something in the frying pan in your kitchen. Why not have it be a piece of fish or chicken or turkey or whatever the case may be? You still have to eat. You can still make a different choice. Oh, I can't work out because it's raining or its gym is closed for renovation. What can I do? Well, like I said, we can turn on YouTube, or you can go to module 5 in the course and start there. So asking different questions. We talked a lot about different questions on yesterday's talk. And the favorite one was, not today, Satan. Okay. So things that we can do to change our own perspective on things. Number 1 is have a gratitude journal, writing out the things that you're grateful for, your health. So if we signed up to this to get improved health, so you don't maybe feel so healthy right now or in the beginning, you're still on medications, you still have blood pressure issues, blood sugar issues, whatever. Yeah, but did you wake up today? Did you get up and walk across the room and go to the restroom? Can you see your clothes you're about to put on? Can you do your hands and arms work? What about your body? Are you breathing? Is your heart beating? Can you eat your breakfast? So writing out all the things that you're grateful for your health. Focus what you're focusing on. What you're focusing on expands. Energy flows where focus goes. Studying the winners. Again, this is how you activate that reticular activating system. Success leaves clues. So again, if you're trying to figure out how to make more money, like Napoleon Hill did, he studied wealthy people and then he wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. All he did was study wealthy people for his whole career, and he wrote that book. It's a big seller. It's a really good book that you can also translate to weight loss. All of the principles in the book are the same. You switch out the word money for health and wellness, and you can really practice those principles. But studying the winners is how we learn. What if somebody who was heavy, who lost weight, what did they do? What time do they wake up? What do they eat for breakfast? What kind of exercise do they do? What time do they go to bed? Do they meal prep? Do they buy their food already sent to them meal prepped? What are they doing? What are the winners doing? Again, what are you looking for? What are you looking for matters. Where you put your energy matters. If you're looking for why is this so hard? If you're looking for, oh my gosh, I can't eat that, and I can't eat that, and I can't eat that, you're going to find more of how hard it is. You're going to find more of things that you can't eat. Or if you find like, oh, but I can't eat this, and I can eat that, and I can eat that, and I can't eat that. It's a completely different feeling. And if we feel good about this process, that's what's going to keep us sticking to it. That's what's going to keep us staying the course. So paying attention to that. Asking better questions. How can I make this easier? How can I have chocolate? How can I have chocolate? There's lots of ways. Well, we can have a chocolate protein shake. I can make some chocolate pudding with the protein shake. I can make chocolate popsicles. I can make chocolate protein balls. There's a lot of fun things that we can make. And there's just, again, asking the right questions. Google has a lot of answers. And then the power of intentions, setting your intentions to do your meal prep on whatever day of the week you choose, or days of the week you choose, setting your intentions, setting your goals, setting your planner as to when you'll do these things, when you'll exercise, when you'll join these classes, when you'll meal prep, when you'll do whatever it is that you need to do. And then changing your language, watching your language. When we go to the restaurant and the waiter says, oh, would you like a baked potato or would you like French fries? And you guys know, Dr. Infantino has asked us not to eat potatoes because they are higher glycemic. If I tell the waiter, oh, I can't eat that, that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good, and it's a negative, and it's a takeaway, and it's a loss. But if I change my language and say, I don't eat like that right now, then it's a little bit different feeling. It's delayed gratification. It's a little bit about what Helen's 2 and 3 did, I suppose. All right. So your perspective will either become your prison or your passport. And apparently I really liked the saying by Dr. Wayne Dyer, because there it is again, change the way you look at things and the things that you look at change. All right, so in the course and in module 2, there is the success formula, but I'm gonna review that with you now. So the first piece is to create it, decide what it is you want, and be very specific. The more specific that you can get, the better. Well, let me go through all these. And then you're going to see it in your mind's eye. Imagine yourself. Maybe you close your eyes and you see yourself having, doing, being, the experiencing whatever it is thing that you're trying to create. And give a detail. If you're wearing certain clothes, what color? Is it jeans? Is it your little black dress? Is it your favorite suit that makes you feel confident in a business meeting? What are you wearing? What are you doing? Are you with the grandkids? Look them in the eye in your imagination and imagine all the bonding that you're having, getting to spend time playing hide and go seek with them, because you can now. The next one is feel it. That's the most important piece, really. What does it feel like to bond with those kids? What does it feel like to zip up those favorite jeans? What does it feel like to be able to throw the medication in the trash and I'm not taking my insulin anymore or my blood pressure medication anymore? What does it feel like to look in the mirror and feel confident once again? And these two are on repeat, repeat, repeat. This is again how we condition the subconscious mind. See it, feel it, see it, feel it, see it, feel it, see it, feel it. Because if you do that repeat, 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 you will automatically believe it. And once you believe it, then you start doing it. Then everything becomes automatic. So then you see the opportunities. The reticular activating system has shown you the new Pilates studio that's opening up really soon. Your reticular activating system shows you workout shoes on sale. Your reticular activating system shows you a new recipe that's a low glycemic or gluten-free or whatever the case is. So once your reticular activating system is showing you, because you believe you're going to have it because you see it and feel it, you got to actually take the actions. So when you see the recipe, make it, or go out and buy, at least take the first step, go and buy the ingredients. Or you see that studio opening up, go in there and see what they offer as a free trial, or try it. So taking the actions is super, super important. But don't worry about the believe in it, because you will start to believe it. If you see it and feel it over and over and over again. All right, so that was the whole thing. Does anybody want to unmute and ask any questions or add to that?
Hi, Tammy. This is Juliet.
Hi, Juliet. Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too. So I'm not gonna start until I come back from vacation because I'm not gonna set myself up for failure. That's for one thing.
Yeah, once I realized what your situation was, yeah, that's
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
So I am a more sensitive kind of person, very intuitive. I'm at work, so I have to keep doing things at work as well. And I pick up on other people's moods, and of course, being a woman, maybe not all women are this way, but I was trained a people pleaser. And my default was to self-soothe through food. And that's going to be my big challenge, to do something different. Do you have any suggestions? I mean, for myself, I'm already thinking, well, I can, there's a yoga class that I can go to. I can go to the sauna here.
Yeah. As far as the self,
Drawing, coloring, I'm coloring, and you said the writing will help, so that's another thing that I will focus on writing, helping others.
I think for me, because I was the same in far as, I don't know if I ever ate for hunger. It was just for boredom or for comfort or for joy or for sad or you name it. That's why I was eating. Didn't really seem to matter.
Right.
So for me, in my case, when I started learning about the glycemic index, what that came with was learning the dangers of the sugar and what's actually happening in my body when I ate foods that were high glycemic or AKA high sugar. So it made my perspective on the sweets and the sugary things or the high glycemic, and that's even bread. Bread isn't sweet, but most of it turns instantly into sugar in the body. So
Yeah, I'm
the more
aware of
I
that.
learned about that, the more I learned about that, the less I wanted it. And I also knew that, okay, the bread's going to make me fat. The bread's going to make me fat. The bread's going to make me fat. And then again, repeat, repeat, repeat. The subconscious mind is learning that. But I also had an association with being fat. And this is just my personal story. So everybody has a different story. I was also divorced and wanted to start dating again. And I believed, again, we do everything because based on what we believe. I believed no one would ever date me if I'm fat. So the more I believe this is going to make me fat, and I also believe no one will ever date me if I'm fat. The combination made it easier for me to start staying away from those kinds of foods. But I also made it a challenge and a fun game. Again, another, I guess, perspective was, well, how can I have breads or tortillas or wraps or other things of that nature without having it high glycemic, without sending me into fat storage, and without making me fat? So then again, studying this kind of stuff and in writing I'm not saying I'll have to write a book, but just learning about it, I learned there are breads out there. I have a sourdough toast every day. now. I'm not suggesting you do in your first 12 weeks. But there's certain ones that I can have. There's certain tortillas that, that are sprouted, that are high fiber, they're not gluten-free, so not first 12 weeks. But there's, if you're looking for it, like, remember, what are you looking for? What are we looking for? If we're looking for ways to have a bread or a tortilla that's low glycemic, if we're looking hard enough, we're going to find it. If I say, look around the room for, how do I say this? For brown things. Look around the room for brown things. Look around the room for brown things. And really, do it right now. Look around your rooms, find something brown, find something brown, find something brown. Okay, now close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes. Okay, now, how many green things did you see? Now, if you're in your home, you have your home memorized, so this may not be the perfect example. But if you're looking for brown, looking for brown, looking for brown, you're going to find brown. And you're not going to really see the green. Had I said look for green, you would have saw something green, or something close to green, or sort of green, or kind of green, or greenish. You know what I mean? So if we're looking for ways to have lower glycemic, gluten-free or dairy-free things, the more we're looking for those, we're going to find them. So we can still have a little bit of soothing with food, but it will be a better choice of things that won't put us in that fat storage zone.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm already diabetic, so I have a different objective, first of all. But I understand what you're saying. It's just, and this is helpful, what you focus on in the negative will not be helpful. You got to come up with solutions. And Wayne Dyer used to say the universe doesn't hear the not in front of whatever it is that,
Yeah, like, don't eat the cookie, don't eat the cookie, don't eat the cookie. All I'm thinking now is about the damn cookie.
Instead of saying, eat an apple, or maybe not in the beginning, but
Right, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Positive affirmations, or instead of negative. So,
and that's
thanks.
what that success formula is for, is creating it. Decide what you want.
Yeah.
And another thing on that success formula too, I've seen people create vision boards. If you guys are familiar with those, you certainly could do that. But I would say stick to one topic. So if getting healthy is it, have pictures of you or somebody doing the active things, climbing the hill, wearing the cute clothes, or no more diabetes, rather than, oh, I want a lot of money, and I want the boyfriend, and I want the healthy body, and I want to go to Europe, and I want to go to Costa Rica, and I want to have a boat and a new car. There's too many things, and the brain goes, wow. If you focus,
I would love to be able to go horseback riding again, without being fearful of breaking the horse's back.
Yeah, so that would be on your vision board. You on the horse. Yeah.
Okay. I'll bug out and leave somebody else some questions.
Anybody else? You guys know I love questions. Well, there's a lot of new faces here, but I do love questions. Or shares.
I can ask a relatively simple one. I like crunchy things, and a lot of times they're the starchier things. Would seaweed nori sheets, the one way I can get them at a reasonable price, they have sesame oil, and I would be okay with that. Yeah, it's a small enough amount of the oil that it won't hurt. Okay.
Yeah, the sesame oil is a little higher in omega-6, but this program, this diet, is we've taken a lot of the inflammatories out. So if you want a crunchy, I got to throw a bone here. And, you know, I've talked about that with Dr. Infantino because his heart's just absolutely in the right place. He thinks he wants to put the hospitals out of business. And so he wants to get everybody healthy. Me, I just want to keep you on the program. So I need to throw you a bone here. And they're like, yes, have the seaweed or have the, okay, fine, let's have a little fruit, something like that. Give you a little something to work with. So,
Well,
yeah.
The other thing I was curious about, I do not drink coffee, but in the last couple of years, I've been drinking roasted cacao, and it has, I think it's bromelain, it's another milder stimulant. I don't know if that would be allowed or not, and I also don't know if it's an issue. My issue that I'm really working on isn't weight loss, but overabundance of yeast in the body. So when I talked to Dr. Infantino, there was a lot about staying away from the things that would have molds or fungus on it or what have you. And I don't know what happens with cacao, so I didn't know if that was.
Cacao is fine. Bromelain is, that's an anti-inflammatory as far as I know.
That I'm saying the wrong name. Okay. But if we were able to have cocoa powder, then I would assume this is unsweetened. There's nothing in
Yeah.
it.
Cacao has more health benefit than just plain cocoa, but you can use either.
Okay. Super.
Yeah, in fact, I just made a chocolate pudding with it using an almond milk and gelatin and a cocoa powder. But next time I'm going to make it, I'm going to put a scoop of the chocolate protein powder. That way, at least I'm getting a protein out of the deal.
Right.
So, but keep playing in the kitchen, keep experimenting. Some things don't turn out. Some things turn out really good. But once they, like the chocolate pudding, I made it. The recipe called for the can of the full fat coconut milk. Well, it was pretty good, but I could have eaten the whole thing. The whole thing would have been 880 calories. So I was like, okay, note to self. What if I just did the unsweetened regular almond milk, and added the gelatin, and it came out a little softer. So the next time I make it, I'm just going to add an extra teaspoon of gelatin so it will firm it up and make it spoonable. But I am going to find a way to have that chocolate pudding. So cacao or chocolate protein powder, either way, or cocoa powder, unsweetened. And then you sweeten, if you're not using the protein powder, you will use a monk fruit or a stevia. Otherwise, it would be terrible.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Anybody else? All right. All right. Well, I thank you all for being here. I really appreciate your participation, showing up, asking questions, commenting. I just really appreciate that you're even here. I know some of you are at work and you're still here. I know you can't all show your screen or you have your camera on. I get it. The fact that you're here is awesome. If you're listening to this as a replay, good for you. I know a lot of people do that as well. So, as always, if you need anything, reach out, and I look forward to continuing to work with you guys. So I'm going to say goodbye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.